Hello and welcome to episode number 28 of the Knitting Teaspoon podcast. I'm Liesbeth, your host, and this is a podcast all about knitting, sewing, spinning, all the fiber crafts basically. Whatever floats my boat in a week, I guess. So I would like to apologize for the sound quality of the past two episodes. My microphone suddenly decided to, only work when it felt like it, which unfortunately was like half a word every sentence. So I hope that you can hear me a lot better now because my new microphone has arrived, and of course I hope that it will give a better sound quality because it matters. It's annoying to listen to someone who you can't hear half of the time, or at least not properly. So yay, new microphone is here. I'm so happy with it. It's nothing special, but at least it works. So I tested it before I started recording. It seems to be okay. I will have to see in editing how it compares to previous episodes because different programs react differently to different sound levels, but we will have to see. So, let's get into what I've been up to this week, because I've been doing, not that much crafting actually. I've been hooked on a video game. Yeah, but I still worked on 4 projects, one of which is finished now. And the one finished object that I have I have it here with me today, is the new cover for my phone. Because as you guys will know, the microphone wasn't the only piece of technology that was failing me recently. So my phone is actually in here right now, otherwise it probably wouldn't stand up the way it does. And I basically knit this cuff, basically as you would knit a toe-up sock, because I cast on here with Turkish cast on, which is quite similar to Julie's Magic cast on, slightly different, but same idea. You cast on for stitches on both sides and then you start knitting in a round from there. And so I did, and at a certain point I felt like, hey, it's long enough, so let's put on an edge. So this is I think a Latvian braid. I'm not really sure if you're allowed to call it Latvian braids if you use them with 4 or 3 colors, but I tried the 3-color one. I've only done 2-color ones so far, and then I only cast off and did the Latvian braid on the front side, not on the back side, as you can see. So you can't really see because it's in here. So here's a few rows that have 3 colors, and then I picked up stitches on the back side. On the back side, and what was the back side became the front side of the cover. This tiny funny little hat, which is on both sides, so it's kind of annoying because I can't see which is the front or the back side of my phone this way. I made a little cap that opens up. You can also just keep it like this, but that looks a little weird, I think. And then I get my phone out. So yay! And I thought it's only 8 ends to weave in, but it apparently took me over half an hour to weave in just 8 ends. I must say, when I weave in ends, I try to make it invisible, so I'm not really sure if you can see where I did so. I think it must be on this side where I wove in ends. Honestly, I can't really find it anymore, so I try to make my work look neat from the inside as well. So with Colorworks, with all the floats on the back side as well, it's difficult to see whether you're putting your stitches in the right position. But yeah, I like this. These are just some random patterns that I came up with as I went along. I think I had 1 row done of the hearts pattern by last episode, so the rest of it was done today, mostly while commuting to and from work. Yeah, and I'm really happy with it. Unfortunately, someone made my work somewhat more efficient, so no knitting time at work anymore. uh, as if I go to work to knit there. Well, it would be nice if I could. So this little project is made on my new Chowgu needles, which were sent to me as a gift by a lovely friend. So yeah, I'm still so glad that I have those new needles. And I worked with Jamieson Shetland Spindrift, I believe, in well, the 4 colors that you can see, but I have them right here. So they are Shetland Black, Tartan, Crimson, and Natural White, I believe. So I haven't got a clue what all their numbers are, and it's probably possible to find those, but I don't think anyone is interested in hearing numbers, so I will just put them in the description box of this video, where I always keep my show notes. And I think if anyone is really interested in knitting with the exact same colors, then they will be able to well, it's easier if you can just read it after you've watched it, I think, so that it just stays there. It doesn't go anywhere. Like when I'm talking, you would have to repeat the same piece over and over again. Would be annoying, at least I think so. So there's another kind of finished object. It's not really finished, but because it's just a part of my blanket that I've been knitting on, and apparently I still have the needles in, but I finished this little border square, so I knit on it a little bit more than just at the local knit group that I go to every Thursday evening, at least if my schedule allows. Yeah, so I knit these log cabin squares. I just roll a 10-sided dice to decide which color comes next, but in each square every color can only appear once. So yesterday I was sitting there rolling for the last color, which often takes the most rolls because there's the most colors already in there, so least good options. And I kept rolling over and over, and then someone said, like, just pick a color if everything you roll wasn't good. But red happens to be my color 5, and I just kept rolling 5, like 4 times in a row. I should have played Yahtzee or something, but I didn't. So yay, another piece finished off my blanket. And now that the weather is cooling down a bit, we were below 20 degrees Celsius today, so I believe that's like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, but if I'm wrong, then I will correct this in the down bar, where you can see that I've corrected myself, because usually in editing it's already done, of course, but I don't know that yet. So there's been another project that I've been working on, that I was already working on last week, which has gotten a little bit more attention, because last week I think I finished spinning this braid of fiber. This was 100% biological merino fiber by Spin Spool. So they hand dye fiber to spin with, and they sell it in braids. I can't show you a braid anymore of their brand, because yeah, well, this is all that's left of it. So this is the last braid that I'm spinning, and it's BFL this time. And yeah, here's how far I am. So as you can see, well, these bobbins, I still have a way to go. I mean, it's probably just over halfway, maybe not even halfway. I don't know, honestly. But yeah. In this one you can see a little bit better all the colors that are in there, at least if the camera shows them up right, because there's this grayish color, and this pink, and there's this more beigey, orangey, light brownish color. I wouldn't know how to describe this color. If you know, please let me know. Would be nice if I could name the color of the vest that I'm vest. In Dutch it's called a vest, but a vest is a cardigan. So yeah, there's more words that are confusing in that sense, because sometimes an English word also exists in Dutch, but it means something different, and sometimes it's just really confusing. So if you notice me using other words in a completely wrong way, just let me know. I'd love to learn. So, yeah, I hope you can still understand me, of course. So, yeah, I think the braid is coming on along nicely. I think you can also see that this, I feel like the merino has more of a shine to it than the BFL. Might just be the dye, how it took, but I think it's also in the nature of the fiber that this is just a little bit shinier and softer than the BFL. But that's why I like the BFL in there, because I think it's more sturdy and will stay good for longer. Also, I think it spins more easily, so I think if I'm going to try spinning on a next project, well, I have some other fibers lying around already, which I should probably use but first. But if I'm looking for more spinning fiber, then I'm more likely to go for some BFL content than for more merino. So merino is a breed of sheep, for those of you who don't know, and BFL is blue-faced Leicester, which is also a sheep breed. So that's 3 projects out of the way already. So, and then there is one more project that you will not have seen because, well, it wasn't technically on the needles by last week, but that's because it's been on the needles for about a year now, and haven't worked on it for about a year now. So I started, yeah, and then I left it lingering about. So I did not cast on this week, but you can consider it a cast on because I was like at this stripe. And it is going to be a potholder, or at least that's, I think, what they are called in English. So it's a double-sided piece of knitting cotton to hold your pants. And as you can see, there is going to be a pattern in this one, and it's reversed on the other side, which is the nature of double knitting, and I like it. But this is going to be a potholder for my brother. He's had his birthday this week, so I thought it would be nice to make him the second potholder, because I had knit well, almost an identical one for him for his birthday last year, and he liked it. And recently he asked, "Did you ever finish the second one you started?" Because I said that I would knit a second one for his girlfriend, but then their relationship went downhill, and yeah, I didn't want to pressure myself to knit the double knitting for the girlfriend. That wasn't going to last, and they broke up. So I'm quite happy that I never gave it to her. Yeah, I'm going to finish it now, and then he will have a pair of matching potholders. So the previous one is the same, and you guys may be curious what the pattern is going to be. Well, my brother, he likes to fly in an airplane, but it's a glider plane, so the ones without a motor. I drew up a pattern for it last year on holiday. We were on a holiday together with my entire family, and yeah, so here it is. In reality, it's this thing that looks like a huge rectangle and a weird kind of shape is more of a square, but it's just the nature of the stitches. They tend to be less high than they are wide, but yeah, in this case that's not true. So I drew out the pattern in Stitch Mastery, which is a program that I use for drawing patterns. I didn't have that pattern. I didn't have any computer with me during the holidays, but I drew up something in a little notebook that I have, and then I knit the first potholder on holiday last year, and now the past week I've just looked at a kind of not so nice quality picture that I took from my previous potholder, and just counted out all the stitches so that I knew where it would have to go. And yeah, I took it twice, so I just mirrored it. I know that on the one side it's actually blue and white instead of white and blue, but I thought it's more environmentally friendly to just print it twice in these colors, and also easier not to have to reverse the colors in the program, although it's quite a nice program in that sense. So it's relatively okay to use, I'd say. If you ever want to draw out patterns like this, I would recommend this program. Stitch Mastery is its name. The only downside I think is yeah, it's around $60, so it's not very cheap if you just want to try it out once, but if you think you're into it, it could be a nice program. You can't. It's not only for doing color work, things like this, but you can. They also have a complete, well, probably not complete, but quite an extensive library of special knitting stitches, such as knit two togethers or yarn overs or all kinds of crazy lace stitches that I've never even tried. Probably also brioche. Never tried brioche, and definitely never have designed anything with brioche. But yeah, I tend to make these kind of charts, and I'm about halfway, because I think I'm like on should show it on just one piece, but I think I'm about here. So this piece is already done, which doesn't really look like a plane yet, but it will eventually. And I think I will upload this as a pattern too, just a simple one. So the way I do double knitting is by casting on with alternate colors. So I make one stitch with the white, in this case one stitch with white yarn and one stitch with blue yarn, and make twice as many stitches as I want to have in one direction plus two, because one of them is going to be the edge. Haven't really figured out a way to make a nice edge on the side, but then in the first row you start purling every knitting every first stitch in one color, and then purling the other stitch in the other color. But if you knit, you hold both yarns to the back, and if you purl, you take both yarns to the front. So your floats kind of, well, there isn't really floats. You're actually just knitting two layers of fabric that are well, kind of connected to each other. As long as you don't change colors in a row, actually you are knitting two different pieces of fabric. But that's why on the edge I like to knit one with one color and then with the other color, and then the work is kind of connected to itself, so it doesn't fall apart. And then when you start changing colors, you use the yarn from the front side on the back side and the other way around, so then you tangle the stitches, and then it will become like one fabric piece that you can't pull apart anymore. So yeah, that's double knitting. But I guess if you really want to learn more about double knitting, then you should probably go and watch some tutorials there. I know I learned how to double knit from a YouTube video, so I'm gonna guess there are still tutorials out there. So this yarn that I'm using is I think by Lana Grossa, and it's I think just their Cotone or Cotone, and then there's these colors. I think this is the bleached white or just white, and I haven't got a clue whether this blue has any colorway name. I'm guessing they just use numbers. This is also what my skeins tend to look like after a while. I don't know if any of you guys suffer from this. I know you can kick them up to avoid this, but who has the time? I could have the time if I didn't play so many video games, I guess. But you know, sometimes you just want to do whatever you want to do, and cake and yarn is typically not one of them, although I'm really tempted to start using the nustepinne. I think that's the word for it. So the wooden pin that I showed you recently that I got as a prize for a knit along that I got. So yeah, about knit alongs, I think I want to host a knit along, my first knit along, which is not actually going to be a knit along because it's going to be a more than one craft along. So yeah, I think I'm going to open a Ravelry group right after recording this. So you will probably see the name of my Ravelry group, which is probably going to be something like Knitting Teaspoon Podcast Ravelry group, but I don't know that yet. So I'm going to open a Ravelry group for that, and I will host a knit along there. So there's going to be a chatter thread and well, I don't think a finished objects thread, but a thread where you can enter as soon as you've used 2 crafts or more in your project. So if you are knitting a huge blanket or something like that, then it's fine as soon as you've used both crochet and knitting or something, or if you hand dyed it and, well, I think used at least 100 meters in total for your project. Yeah, that would be a nice criterion to just have it 100 meters minimum. Yeah, so that's going to be my first knit along, and yeah, I should start thinking about getting some prizes for a knit along, because I like to draw prizes in the end. And I think I'm going to host this knit along until the end of October. So the first episode in November I will draw prizes. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing. So I think that's all for today. And yeah, thank you so much for joining in again. Thank you so much for hopefully trusting my sound quality a bit better this week. It really means a lot that you come back after what I've put you through with the horrible sound quality of the past 2 weeks. Trust me, I've been probably most frustrated of all about this. But yeah, I'm happy to have a new and working microphone, and yeah, I hope to see you again next week. So bye!